All right, welcome to Raising Funds for World Domination, Day 57. So we got some early chatters here. No calzones today. Looks like you're both number one. All right. Yeah, so that's the standard intro. There's no substantial updates on that. Although I saw a couple articles that apparently this renovation guy actually lost. At a couple other buildings where they have renovations, they rejected them. So there's positive news on the horizon. No calzone. I don't get the fascination with calzones. I never heard of a calzone in my life until someone randomly mentioned it in stream. So right now, for the last few days, I've been before that I was switching back and forth, doing a bit of accounting and stuff. And I had hoped to work on some short form videos. At the moment, the last few days I've been just focusing all my time on trying to finish up the next release of this game, so I can get that out there and have it published and kind of forget about it for a while. That way, when people discover it, there's actually something interesting to discover. Today, I fixed, as of today, I've implemented all the features that I want in the next version. So I think I could do a better job on the menu thing. There's some better stuff I could do with frame moving and stuff, but I think this is good enough. You can actually open some frames like the help menu and close them and stuff. The map area, there's been tremendous refactoring of the way the map area works, and I'm really happy about how the extra layer thing turned out. That looks pretty cool. I think that's a killer feature for the game, to be able to see what's under the current layer, and so you can actually you can actually look. Not only can you see the other layer, but you can actually find other resources below. Today there's actually a few there's a few weird I guess glitches. One is so if I open the help menu, so when I open the help menu, it moves the map. Or if I even go between there, let's say I go up to the edge, if I use tab to switch frames, it moves the map area, and that's a glitch due to how I'm sending the events for changes. I have to make that a bit smarter, and it turns out I'm at a point where I'm just kind of fixing bugs, and for the remaining bugs, every time I fix them, I introduce new bugs. So I have to come back and kind of revise how I'm doing some of the actually writing the frames. It has to do with a lot of the bugs center on the fact that to make this thing concurrency safe and to speed it up with the redraw events in different threads, when different threads send updates about what's being printed on them to the console writer thread where they actually get written. If that print operation is rejected, that causes other problems. So you end up with basically missed redraws. So I have to make it robust against that. And that's I think about where the last couple of bugs are. I fixed another bug today. When you went back, it would not clear part of the map or part of the help menu. But I think I'm getting close to the point where there's not a lot of new bugs. The fact you haven't heard of it is what makes us obsessed with getting you to try one. Interesting. It must, maybe it's a more of a, I don't know, California food or something. Maybe I don't know if I don't know if it's like a common thing to buy up here in Ontario, or if it's just something to do with certain areas have calzones more. What's the plan for world domination? The plan is to start a new society, brand new society, on an uninhabited island up in northern Canada, and then build a brand new society. Get if I can get $12 billion in super chats, then I can start building a deep water port for my new society. Then we'll raise money from private equity firms, start just buying up countries, restructure their assets, and then declare bankruptcy on the debt and keep all the assets, and then just rinse and repeat until the whole world is taken over. Man, this is a good game. Good game indeed. It will take Robert 416 years to collect $13 billion if he gets $1 every second. Yeah, I guess I'm a little bit under that average of $1 every second, but as long as you maintain a positive mindset, then it'll happen. That's all you need. Just think positive, and then it'll happen. And believe in yourself. What if you made $15 an hour? That's less than $1 a second. prefer calzones as a currency rather than USD. I don't know. They deteriorate over time though. So for a terminal-based game, it should be able to work on pure console. So because the graphics set is restricted, I'll try to use make the other layer an actual visible color. I guess you can't even see that. Interesting. So the 40s are what I'm looking at. I forgot how to do ANSI codes. At some point, calzones will have less inflation than USD. I guess that's possible. Hey bro, I watched one of your videos about how to make CPU. Thanks for the video. No problem. That's my most popular video. Also, it's a use-it-or-lose-it currency, which promotes investment, prevents hoarding of wealth. Yeah, I mean the food is a pretty good currency. I think it'd be better to have less perishable currency though. If you earn 15 and work 24 hours a day, it would take 76 centuries to earn $1 billion. Well, that sounds like quite a while, but I think if you think positive and you maintain a positive mindset, then it'll be faster. Calzones would be insanely anti-inflationary as the calzone supply shrank to hungry savers. It would increase the value of remaining calzones. Yeah, I mean, this could be bigger than blockchain. Galactic Past says, hello, Robert. How's it going? Why not make these variables final as well? I probably could. Right now, I'm gonna that work is easy, so I'm not gonna do it. I'm gonna focus on the hard work first. Yeah, but I have a few more like functionality things. And then once I do that, I might. I'm thinking I'll maybe try to shift back toward more like standard content creation for a bit to bring in some more money. So I've been thinking about people keep telling me to use AI and stuff. It might be fun to actually make a serious attempt at using some of these AI tools and maybe pay for one and hook it up to the repo and like I would be interested to see like what kind of recommendations AI would have. Like AI would probably find like I probably got tons of warnings and stuff in the code. So we got red, green, yellow, that color, that color. That's not right. I think that Dell Inspiron is from a time when they shipped Ubuntu optionally. I'm not even sure. It's old. Calzone greater than AI and cryptocurrency. I think you might be right. I think that might be a good thing to bootstrap the economy, the Axel Heiberg economy. Now, can I do the following? that's... What's going on? Huh, I did not expect whatever that is. So number like 12. Sigma's calculus. Right now, I'm just testing escape sequences, just a quick script to see what the colors look like. Oh wait, did it disappear? Oh yeah, it did. What's going on? Okay, now it's back. Yeah, whatever escape code 12 is, it's some kind of... Oh wait, that's very weird. I'll have to look that up. It does. I have no idea. Like it's glitched. Everything afterward. Does anyone know what that is off the top of their head? It starts around escape sequence 12. So I guess for background colors, well, I could try more. Let's go 1000. Terminal might not support this. Forum feed is what it's labeled. Also new page. Okay. Yeah, it's weird that it glitches out. And if I scroll up a bit and come back down, then everything's normal again. I guess there's no secret. 1000. So these are my options for background color. I love this bug. It's an interesting bug. I don't know. Makes me wonder what's happening internally. Is he making a game? Yes. Let's see, 44. That's probably easiest on the eyes. going to add colored terrain in your game. That's basically what I'm adding right now. I had to add, I had a ton of refactoring to do with the user interface and stuff in order to support that. Yeah, so it works in the like non-console version. I guess there's something, it's not correctly oh, I didn't actually use. Ever tried oh my bash or oh my ZSH? I have not. The console color, oh well, console thing. Yeah, the console is pretty limited to begin with. That's kind of hard in the eyes. It's kind of hard coding in this. See, this is one of the advantages of actually using Vim, not using a standard IDE. So now when I'm coding in this context, it's like the exact same, and I don't have to like no matter how terrible the user interface is, I can still code just like I normally would. Let's figure out what's a nice color for text. for green text. Yeah, that's spread. Whoa, that's crazy. Whoa. Huh. That's nice. Check it out. Just turbocharges autocomplete. Other things like showing git branch. Oh, there, Robert. And by the way, I just got my CCNA. Excellent. Do you remember me? To go to an IT job as a dev. I mean, like system network admin. And the CCNA stands for Cisco Certified Network Associate. I think you forgot to reformat back. I think it's actually just it's a bug in the escape codes or something. I'll have to look up that escape code. Yeah, it's a strange bug. Excellent. So you got approved for your CCNA recently. That's good. That'll improve your job prospects. Let's see. So I guess instead of that, what was it 12? 12 was what messed everything up. All right, that's on green. So black would be best on green. That's way too hard in the eyes. I want to color it. It's not going to be terrible on the eyes. Actually, blue's not too bad. Code in wingdings or windings. Don't know how to pronounce that. Easily double stream views. Do you think to work as system network admin will ruin my development career? What would you recommend as I'm an undergraduate in my second year? I think given the way the economy now is, it's probably whatever you can, whatever you can do to like maintain, like whatever you think you can easily get jobs in your area. So where you, based on where you are physically and what visas you have access to, and like whatever, like in your local environment, if you were to try and get a job tomorrow, what is the most likely specialization? If it's like system in or whatever, just kind of staying in the job market, I think is probably a good idea. And then because if you can get into a place, even if it's not the greatest role, then it's easier to pivot into a role once you're already employed somewhere, even if it's not the greatest position. And if the world economy tanks and stuff like that, just having the experience and stuff like that. So network admin. I don't think it'll ruin your development career. I guess if you're like only working on that, but if you do, if you're still interested in it, you can kind of work on it on the side. And if you get the right workplace and the right manager, you could mention your aspirations to kind of pivot. You would like to start, just get the job as a network admin, and then start saying, like, because you could pivot from network admin. A network admin could be very useful. Could write like a lot of Python scripts to do network testing, and like, for example, as a network admin, you probably want to make sure, is the firewall active? So you could write like scripts and stuff to automate your network admin activities. And that could basically be your intro to the actual development stuff. And then once you have written a bunch of Python scripts to automate all this stuff, then you're kind of indistinguishable from a software developer. I'm on Android development for a side hustle, freelancing. Are there any better options than this for more money? Not that I know of. I never really figured out the secret winning formula for freelance / consulting. I tried that for years, and the conclusion I had was that it's just not a viable business model for me. It is easiest and the thing I enjoy the most when I'm working with Linux. Yeah, I think some people want to like stay in academia and study for years and years and get PhDs and stuff like that. But I think it's especially in the way the world is now today, if you can just get into something, you can like new opportunities will present themselves. Whereas if you just don't have any connections, don't have any coworkers and stuff like that, but every place you go work, you're going to meet a few more people and expand your network, and then you can bug those people for a job somewhere at the new place. Because especially in this industry, even if you go to work somewhere and then you only meet like 5 people, those 5 people will eventually get laid off, leave the company, go work at some other place. So now you have like 5 new connections in some other companies if you keep in touch with them. Green looks pretty good, but How are you planning on conquering the Earth? My hope is to get someone to send me a really big super chat for $12 billion, and then I can start a brand new society up on an uninhabited island in northern Canada, and then get some venture capital financing from a private equity firm, and then we'll just start buying up countries, restructure their debt, then declare bankruptcy, and then take all the assets, and then we'll just do that over and over again until we get eventually to a leveraged buyout of the entire world. scroll up. Opinions on Israel? No, thank you. Opinions on terminal-based block mining simulation game? Game Dev Chad, good evening to you as well. Alright, that compiles. Now let's try it in the graphical mode. Alright, that might be a decent color scheme for pure terminal. This is with like the super restricted 8-bit graphical mode. So the dark character will be if you're over top if you're over top of a block. that the ocean? No, that's actually just empty space. I should maybe. The thing is, the graphics are very restricted. I've only got several colors to work with. So this here, so right now, this is a cave system. So when I press X, now I'm down in the cave. I go back up. And the R means so at the current level, that's a rock. And then if I go over here and I press the M key, now I just mine that block that's underneath. So I changed it too. So when you mine, it mines around you, then it mines under you. So now I can go down into this. So right now I'm digging down. So yeah, I guess one of the things I could implement is lava. So that when you can dig down, and then you can get into lava, and then die. I don't know, I should maybe make this a different color. Because it's probably not intuitive that the dark color, red for lava, blue for ocean, gray for rocks. I think things like, there is no gray. Green for terrain. Yeah, maybe I could make it green. What if you had to walk instead of being able to fly? That takes more work to implement, and also, I guess in the future I could implement, gravity could be implemented. But for now, I guess it's just like creative mode in Minecraft, and you discretely occupy a position, X, Y, Z position. I guess I could make the rocks green. So these here, those colors, that's what I'm working with. I could actually update my script here. So we'll go from 30 to 50. So IJ. So these here are all the color combinations. So that would be, I guess, black on those colors. So I have no other options than these. I guess I could make the open space white. If you switch to a modern terminal, you can have gray too. I know that, but the goal is, and actually I will. I already have that coded in to use this gray. It's color code like 100 or something, but it doesn't exist in. $30M. Yeah, actually that would be all of these ones down here, but it's a really restricted color set. So in terms of background colors, these are the only one, two, yes. These, I guess, there's eight there with including the dark one. So it's only 8 background colors, and those are the options. And of course, I can go into the graphical one. Which terminal are you using? This is the Linux console. So if you do Control Alt like F2 or whatever, now you can install other like terminal emulators and stuff. But the point of this exercise is to figure out the color scheme for the most restricted environment. I guess it probably makes sense to use white. Oh, we got a gifted membership from Frozen Spaceman. Thank you very much. And congratulations to OG Stan. Yeah, I forgot I can get memberships. There hasn't been a lot of memberships the last little while. Maybe check a runtime. Terminal supports extended colors. It does well, to a limited extent. I can do better detection, but like I do already do that. Like the if I go Control, oops. Yeah, so it's already using this color. Maybe I'll make the open terrain white. I don't know, it's hard to say. Or maybe I'll make the blocks green. I guess people will probably confuse them with grass, even though they're not. That'll be green. Empty will be white. Oh, nice. Another gifted membership. Thank you very much. Congratulations to Christopher Tamblant for receiving a gifted membership from Frozen Spaceman. Okay, that's hard in the eyes. Yeah, green is, your eye's too sensitive to green for that. Maybe I'll use that like magenta. What do you think of that color scheme? I guess that still looks like the ocean. I guess I gotta make that, I might just make that black. That would maybe make more sense. Robert, when will you let us give you money again? How about once I publish the release of the next version of this game, which I think will be probably within a few days, because there's no more features left. I'm kind of just doing bug fixes. Although today, I guess I have some difficult thread synchronization stuff to figure out, so I'll do that probably off stream because it's easier to debug and stuff. Right now I'm just screwing around with colors. It's payday. Excellent. Actually, yellow text works pretty good. Nice, another membership. Oh, 5 memberships. Congratulations to Aoi TF Studio. Now, live, Coob Music, Ugly Duckling, and Avalon Anon. Thank you very much. We're up to seven new members for the stream. He'll have to update his Discord link. You mean me? Thanks for the membership. Thanks to Sam. No more ads. It's expired. I'm in the unofficial. So on. Yeah. So I created one Discord link. I think it's. I don't know if you're in the other like unofficial Discord or whatever. There's nothing really on mine. I just have like some overview of like some rules and stuff on mine. So if you go to my YouTube channel, so I finally have an actual link, and I clicked it to not expire. You can go to my channel, and it's not under the current video, but if you like go to my channel page and like click the list where you can find the list of links that are associated with my channel, and that there's like Instagram and all that, Facebook and whatever. I think the last one is Discord, and there's a link there that's broken. deliberately because the last character is a Z. Then I put there on purpose to break the link. And if you remove that Z, that's the secret. So bots and stuff won't go in there. I'm not really I don't really use Discord. And it's also I don't plan to really. I'm going to try to not really participate much, but I do like what I see in the in Brad's Discord. There's people sharing projects and stuff, and I'll probably just check in to make sure there's nothing bad being posted there, and that there's actually like wholesome interactions, and I'll just like people's content and stuff when people post interesting stuff. Discord assumes any invalid invite code is expired. Yeah, the latest one should be not expired because I checked it. I only made it a couple days ago. Works when you remove the Z. It's under the video, at least on desktop website. Yeah, I probably won't for Discord. I don't know this. I don't really use Discord much, so I don't know about like I don't know, it seems like an ideal way to get like viruses and stuff if it's just open and anyone can join and start like spamming cryptocurrency stuff. And what about this? What do you guys think of this color scheme? Our streamer is part of the generation that actually learned not to trust computers. I can trust computers, but it's people that are people that do bad things with computers. Computers are perfect. They're infallible. They never make mistakes. And they're always honest and trustworthy. I just assume most things aren't safe for payment information. Aside from that, it's all data being collected to be sold. Yeah, it's kind of impossible. People are just developing an apathy about the technological world that we live in. This is not too bad. I don't know, any thoughts and opinions on this color scheme? You know how ISPs sell people's data? I wouldn't be surprised. Used to need a plugin. Now Firefox does redirect HTTPS. Wasn't Firefox also doing some kind of data stealing thing? Or like a collection of collecting metadata or data about what you visit and then selling it. They seem to, after they went through financial troubles, they seem to kind of go into evil mode. Look at all that delicious ore to mine. Pile is pretty good but blocking the background. So let me make sure. My ISP business online, not going to sell people's data. Just get to know my community. Yeah, I don't know if that'll be scalable. How much total funds do you have raised? Probably about $1,000 or so. Okay, that's pretty good. I think I'll stick with that color scheme. might like to have a separate network uses ISP DNS. Work in ed tech. Yeah, actually, I remember that when I was running ad campaigns and trying it out. I always use ad block, and then it would mess up my own when I was trying to debug my ads and stuff. It would never work. And I have to like enable 50,000 of these pages that are getting blocked by uBlock Origin. Just use my DNS server for caching. When I get my ISP operational, I'll have all the common sites people use. I don't know, for making an ISP, can anyone just make an ISP? I would assume there's some kind of like, I don't know, formal registration or licensing process or something. I guess in a way that's kind of sketchy. I wouldn't be cool with any random person hosting an ISP for me. I assume though, I think like the current most people get ISPs that are there's at least some corporation behind it with some, you can sue them and stuff if necessary. There's also a little bit of like chain of custody, and there's some people in charge of security, and so if they do something really egregious with your data, there's like a paper trail that can be sued. And I guess I don't really have a super significant expectation of privacy from like the government and stuff like that, as long as they're not like targeting me specifically. Like if they're just looking for bad stuff, then like I assume all the government agencies, like if all they're doing is like scanning for bomb threats and stuff like that, I'm not super concerned about that. Or like illegal activity and money laundering and shall make our own ISP by connecting to a local IXP. What's an IXP? What does that stand for? Once we build a brand new society, then up on Axel Heiberg Island, the sky's the limit. You're going to broadcast malicious BGP routes? Well, it'd be just like in the real world with, what was it, I think Pakistan or something, was broadcasting a bunch of like bad BGP routes. I think China did that for a while. I guess apparently BGP is kind of vulnerable to abuse by design. An internet exchange point is a physical location where multiple internet service providers connect and exchange traffic directly, improving efficiency and reducing costs. DuckDuckGo. BGP is an honor-based protocol back in the day. I'm like, this network thing is pretty novel. Yeah, I remember back in the day it was like everything was on the honor system. I think even like domain names, they were just like, hey guys, you can register whatever you want. Just don't register too many domain names. BGP is a bunch of toothpicks and gum. Every router has to have an idea of the most efficient route for everyone on Earth, and they use a bunch of layered analysis and heuristics. Yeah, I would imagine, I think, well, BGP is only really used by like internet service providers, like at a kind of high level to talk to. It's for autonomous systems to communicate with each other, isn't it? And at that level, I would imagine that there's probably, like, I'm sure there's probably an open source BGP thing you can just sudo apt-get install, but I would assume that probably most ISPs probably have like a hard-coded one that's like their own very specific one. It's the autonomous system that routes the packets. But BGP doesn't BGP say or controls, like it's how you discover autonomous systems or discover the routes or something. Funniest thing is you have companies announce different routes based on geolocation. So just cloud for DNS server address. Interesting. I never really dug too much into BGP. I thought it'd be a fun that'd be like a fun video idea, is actually like set up like just with standard consumer hardware, like build a physical system with with like two autonomous, like have one computer with a sign on it that says like this here is an autonomous system, and here's it communicating with this other thing. Go through the steps of like how to install and configure your own autonomous system. Basically, you can change your answer for each response, so you can map the same IP to many different machines. Interesting. Test discovery. I'm pretty sure it's the same router. It actually moves the packets. They have to be the same system. Yeah, I think at scale, that stuff can like in terms of the system and building an internet system, each of the things can be you could think of it as like a different box. Like you could implement certain, like for example, in with like a router has a DHCP server, and then like it also does DNS, and then it can also do I think probably has like NTP, can serve NTP requests. But technically, if you wanted, you could like load balance that. You could have like one dedicated machine that just does the DHCP, and then another one that does that actually does the DNS and so forth. But of course, they'd maybe have to share some information. And at scale, you could like, I mean, you could technically have like a a specialized piece of equipment where like your routing tables are stored in like a SQL database that's stored like, you know, it's like load balanced somewhere or something. I don't know if anyone does that, but DHCP, DNS, SNAT, NTP, plus all of the port forwarding discovery. Yeah, that's what makes it hard to discover, hard to secure stuff. There's constantly these new stupid protocols being invented. Like all these like, I find there's when it comes to networking, there's a fundamental like design flaw, and that is that it's really hard to. So first of all, security is important. So we do all these like security rules and firewall rules to lock things down, but then when things are locked down, devices cannot automatically discover each other. So then what we do is we invent a service discovery protocol, a new service discovery protocol. But then the problem is when services discover each other, now there's security vulnerabilities. So now we need to like block all of that service discovery. So then people just invent new protocols to rediscover things. And then you end up with 5,000 different service discovery protocols. And they all have vulnerabilities in them. And that's the state of modern networking. Pretty sure at the IXP, they just have one central BGP with a bunch of caching. Don't even get me into the local name discovery with MDNS. Oh yeah, now we have IPv6 to make things more complicated. So many ways. So many ways to create vulnerabilities. IPv4 will never die because of CGNet, carrier grade network address translation. Yeah, it'll probably be around for a while. Just watched your how to make a CPU video. I realized that computer science is just hyper advanced alchemy. Well, computer science is quite high up. I would say the field of computer science is quite a bit different than what's displayed in that video. That would be more in semiconductor manufacturing, which is which you could appropriately call alchemy. But when most people use computer science, they refer to the higher level, like more mathematical end of things. The average computer scientist probably doesn't really know much about photolithography and chip fabs. I made sure just to keep everything open. Don't block ports. So that security should be on the application. Yeah, I think the ideal thing is to do both. I mean, another thing too is a lot of things like routers and stuff have these stupid things where if you do an update, it'll like reset things. So if you like have a firewall or something, it'll just turn off the firewall if you update it or like based on some random event. Reduce the attack surface. Block everything in allow list. I think the ideal thing is, well, it depends on what you're hosting, but the ideal thing is like if you can lock something down so that if you have a service, like a service like SSH or something that's being offered, if you can have some firewall rule so that only a specific IP address can talk to that SSH server, that's That's better, because that way when there's some 0-day discovered in the kernel or in some old version of SSH or some module of SSH, that way you won't get hacked. Because nothing can even talk to the port, even if it is vulnerable. You're right. Thanks for clarifying. Yeah, if you're, I guess it's hard to know everyone's experience level from the internet, but if you're interested in getting into that stuff, it helps to, if you're a student thinking about what to study, it helps to make sure you know what career path you're going into. Because if you enroll in the wrong program, like computer science, for where I went to, computer science and computer engineering sound like the same thing if you're in high school, but they're completely different. And the types of jobs and your like career prospects are like totally different depending on which of those you do. SSH listen to one IP most of the time. I can tunnel to that network. Yeah, I think security is just about minimizing attack surface. Since I'm starting off, I'll do a wireless ISP. Since most use NAT, it'll be a great starting point for providing internet at an affordable price. Yeah, I guess if you're doing a small community thing with some people you know, Bradley said open everything. I think it is good to have it is good to make sure that you have good application layer security. I think that in the ideal case too, you also want some something monitoring, like something always testing to make sure it's continuously secure. Frozen Spaceman sends $4. Oh, that must be on the super stickers. I guess that's a coffee. Excellent. Thank you very much. You've been very, very generous tonight. And our chat revenue for tonight is $4.20. Yeah, I would imagine you'd learn a lot from a project like that. Although for the amount of money you'd be able to charge, I don't know if you'll necessarily be able to recoup your costs very quickly. Home internet probably has terms against reselling. Yeah, I can't remember what he said about like where the source of it, but I think he did imply that it was from like a regular, just like household ISP. I would imagine they probably would figure it out pretty quickly if you are hosting quite a few other people on it. They'd probably figure that out quickly. Isn't wireless ISP called telecommunications? Isn't that 5G radio towers? Telecommunications is a fairly broad term. I think that just refers to like, I guess the root word would be like telephone. So anything that's like goes through. And if you have to look at the etymology of that word, it's probably like any kind of wire-based or signal-based communication. So it's any telephones, telegraphs, fiber optics, wires, copper wires, fiber optic wires. So very, very broad. Wireless ISP would be one example of telecommunications. 5G, if I recall correctly, is basically like a marketing term, but so there's several properties that are specific to, like in order to justifiably call yourself 5G or like fifth generation. I think it has to satisfy a few different criteria. So one is like, I think 5G networks, but they'd have a specific carrier frequency. Probably it also would depend on what country you're in. Because I think in Japan and stuff like that, there's a slightly different frequency they use. Because the spectrum is all licensed and very tightly controlled. And one is 5G is, I think, can do like beamforming, if I recall correctly. So they can, depending on where you are, they can use I think they use like phased array antennas to like direct more of the energy specifically toward where you are. So they can get like better, like as you move around, they can send more energy in your direction, and that means the total power consumption is going to be less, but also they can give you a better signal. So instead of just blasting out tons of energy in all directions, they can basically focus it in one specific direction. What's the Canadian FCC? I forget the name for our FCC. And I think a lot of like the 5G, 4G, 3G, whatever. Like technically, a given technology is not necessarily specifically 5G. Some like it depends what the technology is and what it supports. So you can have like a specific antenna might be, 4.5G or something, depending on what features it has and capabilities. So it's most electrical DSP algo stuff. I imagine internet working is what's between towers then? Yeah, and telecommunications in general is a fairly broad topic that involves basically everything. Yeah, I guess if you ask like, what communications are not telecommunications, I guess it would be any kind of communications that are not like electronic in some way. So talking to someone in person, or like sign language, or but basically almost everything we do now is telecommunications. Internetworking. I don't know if I've ever really seen those two words together. Internetworking together. But mostly if you want to research the topic, usually there's you can look at if you do a Google search for networking layer diagram, or like telecommunication layer diagram, and that'll give you information about like the kind of like classification of different things. So at the very bottom, you have the physical layer, and so that's when it comes into like you say DSP, signal processing, stuff like the actual like electrical signals and stuff, radio waves, the physical environment, and then above that you go into because I don't have my model number. There's like the physical layer, then there's the a protocol layer. That's where you can get into packaging things up into just like packets of information, and then above that you can route things, and then eventually you get into the application layer, which is where you have like actual programs like this. For example, this game. This is actually not in multiplayer right now, but for example, when I move around, it's loading these blocks over here on the screen, and those blocks, it sends a request to the server, and when it comes back, that would come back in a message, and it would be an application layer message, but at some point it goes down the protocol stack into the physical layer, whether that be radio waves or whatever method it goes over the wire. Incredibly educational, no problem. That's why I started this YouTube channel. Want to create a private investigator business, so we could use fun terms like tickle the wire. I don't know what that means. My brother lives a mile or two away. think it's symmetric fiber. I want to set up a microwave link and pay his internet bill. There's so many ridiculous obstacles. You could cut them down, or I could use laser beams. Just cut right through them. Bro, what happened with the tenant board? So at the last hearing, which was May 26th, we had our hearing, and the conclusion, we were about to call another witness, and we ran out of time, so that there's another hearing that's going to happen in the future. And we don't yet know. So 15 of the cases where they rejected the N13 on the basis of improperly served compensation checks, because some people just didn't get theirs and they're supposed to. And then, yeah, so we have at least one more hearing. And if they aren't rejected at the next hearing, then there could potentially even be another hearing, which would be the 5th hearing that gets scheduled. Heyo, remember me. I'm Harik Sharma. Remember you from where? Tickling the wire is when you pretty much push someone to talk about something. I told you I'll dominate the world 2 weeks ago. Okay. There's a bunch of people that come in and say, remember me, but then I forget. Galactic Past. Conestoga. Is there someone in the chat who I know from Conestoga College? Don't move to northern Canada, remote islands. A polar bear will eat you. Now once I get my new society going. Robert, please don't forget about... I can't forget about you. You're number one. You're literally number one right now. Thought he was one of your students. Could have been. I had a lot of students. And I forget a lot of them. There's so many students, but there's only one of me. Polar bears are mean. Yeah, they are actually quite mean. That is an accurate statement. Because apparently polar bears are one of the few animals that will actually actively hunt humans. Like there's a lot of animals that that'll kill humans for self-defense and stuff, like alligators and things. But polar bears will actually like stalk and hunt humans. But if I didn't chat for a week and ask if he remembers me, most likely will. Yeah, probably. You have a lot of red flags, so that stands out. Red flags. I've warned you about a few things before. Have you consulted on firmware projects before? Yeah, I have done. I have done a couple of projects where I did a bit of firmware. It's not necessarily my strong suit. I find for most hardware projects, it takes a bit more like background research to really jump into it. You have to learn how to interface with the whatever technology it is first. I thought that was a term used for a shady partner. Well, red flag is just like a warning. There's things you asked about, like where to get to, like malware and keyloggers and some other sketchy stuff. And those are, I think it would be accurate to call those red flags. Dehumidifier is working. My basement is becoming dry. They're expensive though. They use a lot of electricity. Forgot to mention wanting to repurpose military drones. Well, not just military drones. You were talking about what was it? The restricted ones. Yeah, that's a good example of what I'm talking about. When you do consulting, what kind of application do you prefer working on? I found anything JavaScript I decline now. I do quality assurance related applications, mostly CI pipelines, their respective test environments. I have some videos about consulting. Actually, that reminds me, for the umpteenth time, I need to make a playlist titled consulting. At the moment, I'm not really actively looking for consulting leads anymore. If you watched my how to become a 37-year-old broke loser video that has around 1 million views, that video encapsulates why I don't. In that I talk a lot about my consulting experiences, go into depth about all the nonsense and stuff like that. And at this point, I think it's the thing that is growing the most for me and showing consistent, actual consistent revenue is YouTube. So I'm going to keep doubling down on that And I guess this recent 57-day long streaming streak, it's just been an experiment to see like what kind of revenue does streaming bring in, and also to figure out if I can actually do meaningful work in stream. And I think the answer is kind of yes, although the views are not huge, but there's like a little bit of revenue. So I don't know, it's questionable. I think it also streaming is beneficial in another way that I didn't quite realize before, and that is streaming gives me a good idea of like what people want to know and what people are asking for. So I think I could probably even like I don't know, maybe I could use some AI stuff to go back and go through like previous live streams to pull out some content, maybe clip it. That's on the to-do list, but so it's a possibility. So I could kind of pull some extra value out of that. Probably build a barn from scratch. So Crab's Gatorade, the click of a button. It's called the Predator drone. It'd totally be great. Predator drone. Those are like those ones that are insanely expensive, aren't they? Those like super sophisticated ones. I watched them. I got the series. It was mostly you wanted to build out your own company. Yeah, I think ideally I would like to make some more consulting videos. There's a bunch of topics I want to talk about, but for now, I'm trying to just finish the in progress work I've got done. I've got maybe like a couple more days of working on this game, and then I'm going to do a new release, and hopefully, well, after that I have to focus on taxes, but hopefully I can get some more long form videos out. Cooling would probably be the hardest to build for my drink crabber. I don't know, it's an expensive project just to deliver drinks. Well, it's 12:18. Well, I didn't do a lot of coding tonight, but I got some colors figured out. I have one more kind of difficult bug to fix with the screen updating. Hopefully I can fix that without introducing more bugs. And then I'll within a couple of days, I should hopefully be able to maybe do a new release. Night, guys. Glad I got to hang out. Thanks for stopping by. Elon Musk just called and said that colonizing Axel Heiberg is on his list of plans. Did he? Maybe we can make some more content on Axel Heiberg, get it up on the radar. Can't you write off part of your internet for work? There are exemptions for business-related expenses. Yeah, I guess depending on what percentage is used in your business, you have to think about that. But anyway, I'll leave it there for tonight, and I guess we'll be back tomorrow night. Later.